Hi there. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to pop in and say hi and just speak about a few things, a few exciting things that I have coming up, but also just a few things. Usually when I do a Facebook Live, I tend to talk about what's most dominant in my mind at that time or what's been going on for me this week. And something I noticed this past week is that I've been getting an awful lot of people mention health issues to me. A lot of people I know, or a lot of people that I've randomly been meeting, and even some people I don't really know, but just randomly encountering or meeting for the first time, are talking to me about their health issues. And it's been really interesting for me because I'm kind of seeing something that's really in common that people have when they go through health issues. And that one common theme is that when we go through a health issue, we tend to become really focused on the issue and we tend to become very fearful about the issue. I was literally having a long conversation with somebody about this just a couple of days ago. So I wanted to touch on this a little bit today and also speak about some other exciting projects that I have coming up. So first of all, this week, because I have suddenly seemed to attract a lot of people talking to me about their health issues, I've also started to feel that I'm getting a lot of, intuitive messages and hits about what's going on with people. But I started to ask myself, or in fact, somebody else asked me, and then I started to question. Someone said to me, why do you do what you do? Like, what drives you? What drives you to share everything you share? So I thought, oh my God, that's a really great question. And when she asked me that, it kind of opened a can of worms and I started to unravel it in my mind. Like, why do I do what I do? And it goes back to really the most basic and fundamental thing that I learned when I was on the other side, when I was going through the near-death experience. And as many of you know my story, you know that I was dying from end-stage lymphoma. You know that my body was ridden with tumors and it had metastasized and spread all over my entire lymphatic system. And so there I was lying, dying and in a deep coma, and my soul, my spirit had left my body. And one of the biggest things that I learned or I realized is that, well, first is that my soul lives on, it never dies, and we continue beyond this life. We continue. We're actually infinite. We've lived long before we were born in this life, and we'll continue to live long after that. But the thing that I realized is that the fear I had been dealing with in my life, the fear of the illness. I feared the illness. I feared death. I feared the treatment for the illness. I feared all of these things. The fear was actually the bigger cause of the disease for me than the actual disease itself. And it was being able to see through that fear and realize that I had more autonomy over my life than I realized. That was huge for me. And in that realization, I understood that if I went back to my body with this knowledge, and if I was able to apply it, my body would heal. And so the reason that I'm driven to share this is because I believe that if everybody knew this, they would not suffer as much from illnesses. And our illnesses would stand a much better chance of healing if we knew that the fear of the illness is actually a big part that is preventing us from healing. So let me explain that. Let me break that down further and explain that to you. This is a scientific fact. This is not woo-woo or anything I've pulled up. A scientific fact is that when your body is in fight or flight, your body actually shuts down your immune system because it doesn't need your immune system when it's trying to survive from a disaster or from being attacked by bears or lions. And so our bodies are actually built this way. It shuts down what it doesn't need. So when you are in that survival mechanism, in that fight or flight mechanism, your immune system gets shut down. So what happens when your immune system gets shut down? When your immune system gets shut down, your body stops fighting the diseases that come at you. So if, for example, this is what happened to me, and this is what I understood on the other side. So if, for example, I am diagnosed with something that's really scary for me, and I get the scary diagnosis, and you get told that it's terminal and you're going to die, what happens? What happens is that you go into survival mechanism. You go into fight or flight. At that moment in time, when you need your immune system the most to actually fight this disease that you are facing, your immune system is actually letting you down because you've gone into survival mechanism, and it's using all its energy to actually generate adrenaline, cortisol, and all the things you need to fight the dangers. But in actuality, we need the opposite. And this is the biggest issue that I have found. And this is what I try to keep talking about and sharing, particularly with mainstream medical doctors and hospitals. What I would want them to know is that we have to treat people the opposite. We have to help them not be afraid of their bodies. We have to tell them, hey, you have more control over your disease than you think. You're not a victim of it. Don't be scared. There are resources. We can help you fix it. Those are the things people need to hear in order for their immune systems to be functioning, in order for them to have hope, so that they can feel safe. That's what people need to feel. They need to feel safe. They need to feel hope, so that their immune systems can function at its best. But we end up doing the opposite. And to give you another example, imagine, not even imagine, look at what's happened over the last three years. We get told that there is this awful disease that's deadly and it's going to kill us, and any of us can catch it at any time. If you go out and you don't wear a mask, and if you don't get the vaccine and you catch this disease, and it's going to kill you, and you get this thrown at you over and over and over again on the news every day. It's just being told to you, and it's being politicized, and it's being used to create more money for whatever, for pharmaceuticals, for governments, and it's being leveraged. And everybody is now living in this high stress fear bubble, thinking that at any time we could be struck by this deadly disease. What's that going to do to your body, living like that for 3 years? That in itself is the precursor of having dis-ease. Whereas if we as a culture really wanted to heal people, we would say things like, yes, there is this disease going around, but don't panic, stay calm, pump up your immune system. This is the way to maximize your immune system. It's to meditate, it's to go out in nature. It's not about getting into this survival mechanism, which is what all of media does. So we all end up living in this survival mechanism bubble. And what were we doing? We're actually perpetuating disease, because even if people say, there's no proof that fear causes disease. No, but there is lots of proof that being in survival and fear and stress suppresses your immune system, so your immune system cannot fight disease. That is a fact. So anyway, that is what drives me to share my message, because I see it every day in all walks of life. What is being perpetuated is fear. And what is happening is we're seeing a world where people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And so my drive is what drives me, and the reason I do what I do is because I kind of feel, I saw this, I've been through this, I've come out of this. I wish everybody knew it, that the way that we're treating disease by fearing disease is the opposite of what we need to do. Even when we get messages like, you have to check for cancers, and when women are taught how to look for breast lumps, and what happens is we start fearing our bodies. Women start fearing their own breasts. You know, it's a terrible thing. And we need to start loving our bodies. we need to start seeing them for the magical miracle that they are. We need a very different mindset. And one of the things I've realized even since my near-death experience, since that healing, is that this fear-based paradigm that we live in is very persistent, but it's an illusion. It's not real. It's just a fear-based energy. It's a fear-based belief system. It's an entire culture that is built on fear. Every system of ours is built on fear, but it's not real. And we have to be able to see through this. And so in order for me to live in my love-based bubble, I've constantly got to tell people and remind people, and that's my driving force, so that I can keep creating a bigger and bigger love-based bubble. It's like I just want to shout it from the rooftops. You need to be able to see through this, that the fear itself is what is perpetuating the issues that you are trying to change and heal and cure, whether it's issues in the world or issues in your body. It's the fear itself and the way that we're perpetuating the change that is actually making the issue bigger. In other words, when you focus on illness, trying to get rid of the illness, you're actually perpetuating the issue. But when you focus on expanding wellness, that's when you actually achieve what you're trying to do. Because of this, a lot of my work recently has been geared towards creating content that helps you see through the fear. And I've created this unique retreat workshop, which I would love for you to join me on. It's in June 2nd to 5th in Scottsdale, Arizona. There's more information. We're going to put the link up here in Facebook and Instagram in my bio. But I'd love for you to join me if you're able to, because I love in-person events. And so we're going to do a lot of fun stuff. Whether you can join me or not, I still want you to be able to see through the fear and learn and realize that the way that our culture has been conditioned to handle things is actually the opposite to actually heal the very things that we want to handle. And again, whether it's our bodies or whether it's the world. The other thing I want to say about this is I want to remind you not to forget about your bodies. And what I found is that whether you're someone who is in this spiritual domain where you're a healer, teacher, or into whatever arts or spiritual arts, or if you're in on the other side, if you're in the corporate world and so on, most people, we tend to neglect the fact that our bodies, we tend to neglect the needs of our bodies. We tend to neglect the fact that we even have physical bodies. Bodies seem to be an afterthought. We tend to be obsessed with finding a nice place to live, getting that nice car, earning more money. We only think of our health when we have something go wrong. And even then, we only do what's necessary to get rid of the symptoms. But here's the thing. When you live a life where you kind of are stressed and when you have faced trauma, face it, we've all faced different traumas throughout our life. It's actually causing blockages in your body. And when we just completely neglect our bodies, it can accumulate. And I have noticed that a lot of people who are what I call spiritual teachers, a lot of them tend to have very poor physical health. And that's because they're so focused on their spirit. And I'm guilty of that a lot too. And I have to remind myself a lot too, which is why I'm reminding all of you, because I'm constantly reminding myself, is that we're here as physical beings. And if we want to actually impact the planet in a big way, we do need to take care of our physical bodies as well. We need to, and what are the things we need to do to take care of our physical bodies? It's not just about eating the right food or taking the right supplements. It's actually not just about that at all. It's, of course, we also need to move. We need movement so that energy can flow through our bodies, but also we need contact with people. We need community. We need to laugh. We need to sing. We need to dance. We need to enjoy ourselves. We need to connect with people. And where you can, you need also body contact with people. You need to hug people. All of these things really matter. We need to feel like we belong. All of these things matter in our healing journey. And not just our healing journey, even if you have nothing to heal. I actually call it a well-being journey, because it's a journey of just maintaining wellness so that you can continue to be the light that you are. Oh, Abby, if there are any questions or any comments, please shout them out at me.
Perfect. I'm not seeing any questions right now, but someone, Veronica on Instagram, said something pretty interesting. She said, "We're sick until proven healthy."
Yes.
In the medical system. I thought that was clever.
That's really clever. And that is actually so true. That's what drives me crazy. It really drives me crazy, because it is so wrong. And one of the things that I found, because I did burn out, about a year ago I burned out. I came out of it maybe 6 months ago. But and I was surprised at myself and maybe a bit judgmental towards myself in the beginning, because I thought I should know better, because I've been through what I've been through. I had the NDE and I shouldn't be feeling this sick. And I had all these funky symptoms that was scaring me. And I really thought I should know better. But I want you to know that anybody can be caught off guard. And it's okay to get sick and be caught off guard. But the thing to be aware of, again, and I say this again and again, is don't let yourself fall into the spiral of being fearful of your disease and then going full into just focusing on the disease. And how do I get rid of this disease? What do I need to take? What do I need to do to get rid of the disease? I would ask a different kind of question. I would ask the question, how can I increase my wellness? What would it take for me to feel better right now? What is it that my life is lacking? Am I feeling lonely? How can I increase my my connection with my community? How can I increase the love in my life? Those are all the kinds of things that I would do. And then as an aside, take the pills you need to take, but that's not the priority. You did not get sick because you were not taking the medicine. There's another underlying reason, and that's what you have to uncover. So, and it's very, very true that our current paradigm, our current medical system will have you believe that you need to prove yourself healthy and you're sick until you do.
I think this question is going to answer itself based on what you just said. But someone said, do you actually go to the doctor for annual physicals, or do you...
When I have to, okay.
Or do you go when you feel like you have to?
I only go when I feel like I have to. I don't do the routine stuff that a lot of people do, but I do go when I have to. I don't avoid it but again, I want to say this, even when I go to the doctor, I'm fully aware. I go in with the mindset is I know they're going to use their fear-based tactics. And sure enough, they always do. But this is what I'm trying to say to you. See through the fear and know that the doctor is coming from a place of, okay, this is what I've seen the trajectory of this illness do, so I'm going to give you the worst case scenario. That's what they do. They give you the worst case scenario. Now, here's the thing. I want to tell you this that should help you. When you are on your own and doing the work to heal something, and there are many ways to heal any condition in your body, like a myriad of ways, because it could be you could have manifested this because of stress, because of fear, because of being tired, because of being lonely, because maybe you've lost the passion in your life and you want a way out, any of these reasons. And the doctor doesn't know this. The doctor maybe has only seen you for 5 minutes. And you're going to go home with the mindset of fixing a lot of things about your life. Maybe you're going to exercise more. You're going to walk more. You're going to tweak your eating habits a little more. Like there's so many things you can do to get better. But you go to the doctor just to figure out, okay, what is it that's going on? Can I get some meds to support me for now or to take the urgency out of the situation? The doctor doesn't know what you're going to do at home. The doctor thinks you have just put your health squarely in their hands. And because you've put it in their hands, they're going to give you the worst case scenario. And so unless you take these meds and you do it for 6 months and you do this, then you're not going to get better. That's because they think you have put your health in their hands. Go in with the mindset that I am not putting my health in the hands of the doctor. I'm going to do the work to figure out what it is that got me here in the first place. And I'm going to do the work to reverse it. But because it's a situation where I need to just help me manage my symptoms, I'm going to go to the doctor to see what I need to do to manage my symptoms. That's the mindset I go to the doctor with when I do go to a doctor. And in terms of reversing the trajectory of your disease, there are so many ways to do it. And that's some of the things that I've been working on delivering, which I'm going to be covering in my upcoming retreat, which I am super excited about, because the retreat's going to be in Scottsdale in a beautiful resort, the Hilton Doubletree Resort, where we actually get to spend 4 days together in a beautiful high vibe setting where I'm going to make sure that you all stay in high vibe. We're going to do journeys together, where we're going to actually talk to our bodies. We're going to talk to the different areas of our bodies, the organs of our bodies. And not only that, we're going to raise our vibe, raise our energy, find our passion, find out our soul's purpose on this planet, and all these fun things. Have we got any more questions?
Do you want to do one more and then we'll wrap it up from there?
Yes.
Okay. So someone said, how do you have any advice to help someone who has become ill and fallen into a depression from it? So I'm assuming it's their friend or family member. What can they do to help them with that?
So 2 things I want to say about that. Number 1 is that person has to be open to be helped by you. If they shut you out, then you can only be very, very, subtle and leave books or videos and buy them and see if they watch them or not. But the second thing I want to say to that is do not focus on their illness. You're saying the depression is because of the illness. The thing to help them with is the depression. Help them to come out of the depression. When they come out of the depression, that's when you start to work on building up their mindset. And so this goes back to what I was saying earlier. The most important thing when somebody is ill is their mindset. It's their mindset and their emotional well-being. That is so much more important than anything else. Because when your mindset and your emotional well-being is good and it's feeling high and you're feeling relaxed and you're in a trusting state, that's what you need to do to help the person in depression. That's when your immune system functions at its best. That's when your own body starts to combat the illness. Interestingly, I was just mentioning this to somebody just recently, and it was to do with a baby who was struggling, a little baby who was struggling with some issues. And I was just sensing that the baby was probably stressed out by all the tests and the hospital. And if the baby was just loved and cuddled by the mother, the baby would actually heal faster. In fact, the way that we're trying to heal or cure is doing the opposite. The more that we traumatize, because all of these things, even you as an adult going into a hospital, hearing this information from doctors and being in an environment where you're picking up energy from people who are also dealing with that, it's actually traumatizing you more. And this is why, if it were up to me, hospitals would look completely different. The focus of hospitals would be to calm you and to not say anything that's fearful, because that's how you really open up the immune system and get it functioning. So if you're dealing with children, with babies, the number 1 most important thing is really for them to feel calm and trust and loved and completely enveloped in love. And the same goes for adults. that's how you get your immune system functioning at its best.
So I'm just going to summarize your healing retreat because people are asking. So June 2nd through 5th in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's called From Healing to Whole.
Yes.
You can find out about it by the link in your bio. If you're watching on Instagram, we'll put the link on Facebook as well. Or you can just go to Anita's website, anitamoorjani.com/upcoming events.
Great. And I really hope to see you all there because I have developed some new content for this. And yes, at this moment, this is what's been on my mind. So this is what I've been doing. So thank you all for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you either at the next live or on my social media or at the retreat in person. See you soon. Bye.